I'm Anthony Drizes, and joining me this morning for the opening bell is John Hyland, CIO of the United States Commodities Fund. You're here at the New York Stock Exchange and you're launching a new ETP. Tell me about the United States Agricultural Index Fund and why is it different from other ETPs out there?
Well, United States Agricultural Index Fund was actually launched on the New York in 2012. It differs in the index construction. This is a space that's dominated by the PowerShares DBA product, which is what we would consider sort of a second-generation commodity index. The big difference is where they would say, you know, if they were 8% of the portfolio was held in wheat futures, that 8% is always going to be there, whether wheat's looking favorable or unfavorable. Whereas the index we are tracking would say that if wheat's in backwardation, you know, the prices are higher at the front end of the curve than further back, we'd own more wheat because the index would deem that to be a favorable sign. Whereas if wheat was in contango, we would actually lower, or the index would lower the amount of wheat in the portfolio. So it's really sort of this dynamic allocation where you overweight some of the agricultural commodities and you underweight others, but it changes every month because obviously wheat gets grown, wheat gets consumed. Where you want to be in January is not necessarily where you want to be in March.
What did it feel like to ring the opening bell?
Well, I'd have to, in full and fair disclosure, I had done it before, although this is the first time I got to push the button. Last time my boss got to push the button. So it's a real thrill. It's one of those things that I'd like to say to everybody in the investment industry, you know, it'd be great if everybody got a chance to do it, but obviously only about 250 people per year get to do it. I'm very, very fortunate that I've gotten to be up there several times and push the button, but it is really a thrill and it's a lot of fun.
What would you say investors who are looking to buy into this product, for this ETP, why is it beneficial to them?
Well, agricultural investments have historically correlated with inflation. So certainly people are looking at diversified commodity products because they're worried about inflation. Commodities are one of the few things that actually do positively correlate with inflation. So if you're expecting higher inflation, you might want to look at your adding some commodity exposure. Agricultural commodities compared to, say, the energy commodities or the industrial or precious metal commodities have historically tended to be a little bit more defensive. People eat every year, whether global GDP is growing or not, people still eat. Whereas some of the other commodity sectors, energy or precious or industrial metals, are a little bit more dependent on GDP on a global basis. So we're not saying it's the right thing for everybody or that it's always the right time to own it, but it's certainly an addition to people's toolbox.
Congratulations, John, on the ETP, and thanks for taking the time and joining us here at the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you, Anthony.